Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Tyraku here, and man, oh man, I have to say, let me get my chair situated here. We're good. But it has been a long past about 24 hours. So a few days ago, me and my dad were talking. He plays Raid 2. I've mentioned it a few times before, but he was interested in getting a Sand Devils team going that could farm stage 24 or 25 with food champions. So typically in other dungeons, it'd be soloing. The Sand Devils, I don't know if you can really solo stage 24 and 25, maybe, but I haven't seen a champion yet to be able to do that. So I went to work, started doing some stuff on the test server, trying to figure out a team that could do Sand Devils. No ninja, guys. So anybody in the comments who gets upset every time you see ninja, little trauma, don't worry, no ninja. So I was working on a team that could do Sand Devil stage 25 in a good time. That's one of the most important things to me. Ideally, a good time is under 5 minutes. If it's that 6-minute mark, it's going to be cutting it close, but ideally under 5 minutes. That's okay to level food, run it overnight. It's all good. So this is a team that I have. These two champions make up a team that's actually pretty achievable until you guys see one detail that I'm going to talk about later on, and that makes this team unachievable for 99.9% of players out there. I'm not even joking, okay? It's not even the gear that makes the team unachievable. But before we get into that too much, I'm not going to let this run go in the entirety. I'm actually going to link the run at the end of the video because it takes about 5.5 minutes, so there's no reason to sit through the entire thing. I got a pre-recorded video of it, so we'll just play that at the end. But I do want to ask you guys, what stages or stage of Sand Devils Necropolis are you interested in learning how to clear? I've seen a lot of people saying they're having trouble actually getting to stage 24 and 25. Would you guys like help on specific stages throughout and on the way? Or are there specific stages you're trying to farm, whether it be 7 or maybe 15, whatever it may be? Let me know down in the comment section below what stages you're working on. I've got a few videos out on 24 and 25 now. I think it's enough for the time being. So I want to help you guys who are not quite to 24 or 25 yet actually get to that stage. Also, while you're down there leaving that comment, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. So like I said, this run is going to be pretty slow. But let me talk about a few things that are happening, okay? So we're winning, okay? That's how it's going to be right now. I'm going to back out of it. I want to start from a spot that's going to be the best to actually explain this, okay? So Godseeker, Aniri, and Mordecai. Let me go ahead and talk about why this team is unachievable, okay? So if you want to click off the video, you can go ahead and do so. But the team is unachievable because it is book roulette, okay? Book roulette because we have her A1 fully booked, basically, one book missing. We have her A2 fully booked, which I'm kind of on the fence if this is actually needed. I think you can get away without having the cooldown actually reduced, but we have her res, which is very, very important. We have 2 books into it. The last book is not there, and then her passive has 3 books in it. So her res, it has to be like this, okay? It cannot be fully booked. If it's fully booked, it may have to be a completely different speed tune. I've tried it many times with a huge range of speeds with a bunch of different champions. Maybe somebody can get a speed tune to actually work with a fully booked Godseeker. But the issue is it works the first rotation, maybe even the second one, but then the speeds get out of whack and then she reses the person right before the boss does a big ability. I even tried it with Geomancer. I think Geomancer is a potentially good option because you could run Godseeker very, very slow. He'll reduce the turn meter, but then you run into the risk of the RNG, him not reducing the turn meter and the run failing. So right now, this is the best option, okay? With the res on a 3 out of 4 turn, as 3 out of 4 fully booked, okay? So it's a 5-turn cooldown, and then the passive ability, I think the only option is to have it fully booked, but it may work if you try this out and you book 2 books into this and 2 books into this. Try the run before you fully book it. You can also do 1 book into the passive and 1 book into this res, and it makes the speed tune a little bit different. You have to go a little bit faster than the boss. You have to actually have your Godseeker closer to that like 275 speed to start with. But right now, my Godseeker is at a pretty reasonable speed, okay? So if you are able to achieve the book roulette that I have, then the team is going to work flawlessly for you. In my opinion, it's actually a very, very good build. I just got to remember to never book this Godseeker. I have 3 Godseekers. 2 of them are fully booked, and this one is luckily enough sitting with this ability not booked. Obviously, when you do it, go 1 book at a time. Now, as far as the gear I have on this Godseeker, the speeds for stage 25 seem to be very, very specific. I tried 235, it was too slow. She wasn't able to heal back the destroy max HP, got to her too quickly, and she would just die. When she was at 249, I think it was, she was too fast. Eventually, after all of Mordecai's turn meter boosting, because his A2 ability does do some turn meter boosting, which allows you to run him on stage 25 pretty well with that slower Godseeker. His A2 ability, doing that turn, oh my goodness, can I click it? Doing that turn meter boosting on that second part fills allies' turn meter by 15%. After doing that so many times, I think it was causing Godseeker to eventually catch up to the boss, and then she would do the res right before he did that big hit, which you cannot have happen. So for me, I found the range to be very, very tight between like 243, maybe, I forget if that even works, and then 247 probably. 247, 248 should probably be fine. But yeah, 249 was too fast, and 234, I think I even did 241 was too slow. Just keep that in mind. If you can hit this speed number, that's going to be ideal. Just hit 246. It's going to be very smooth. You need a lot of HP. You need a lot of defense, okay? You need 64,000 is a pretty comfortable range. I'll show you guys in the video, at the end of this video, the replay of the run, how close it actually gets, but I feel like she's pretty safe throughout the run. Now, as far as her skills go, like I said, that's the booking situation. Very, very particular. And then the next thing, okay? This has a lot of intricacies that you cannot have, okay? So you cannot have Resurgent, because if you have Resurgent, the boss is going to damage you. You're going to have a chance to remove that decreased speed debuff that he places, meaning your champion's going to get out of tune because Godseeker is going to be going too fast, so no Resurgent. Also cannot have Cycle of Magic. You cannot reduce the cooldown of the res or anything, because if you do, then the run's going to also get messed up once again. You have to have Spirit Haste, because without Spirit Haste, you're not going to be able to go faster than the boss. So currently we have Spirit Haste. So with our food champions alongside us, we're going to have that 24 speed, because it's 8 speed per champion. So 24 speed total, because the 3 champions of food die, and we're currently sitting at 246. 246 plus 24 is going to be 270. So we're very close to the boss's speed. I think maybe, I guess, between 270 and 275. The boss goes 275, so somewhere around there, I guess, is that sweet spot. But we need that Spirit Haste ability to allow us to continually get back. So as far as I'm aware, Spirit Haste is needed, and especially on stage 24. This build works on 24 with Ninja, as well as 25 with Mordecai. On 24, it's a little bit more flexible. I'll go over that in just a minute. But everything else, no Cycle of Revenge, no turn meter boosting stuff, no Resurgent, and then you should be good to go. Don't really want Lore of Steel either. Could add some weird decimals into the actual speeds. Everything. This is the exact masteries you should use, okay? If you're going to build this team, use these masteries. So let's go ahead and see Mordecai. So Mordecai, this is an interesting part, okay? And the same relates to Ninja. You don't actually have to build these champions to survive the boss at all. Because Mordecai, as long as he dies on like the first hit, then Godseeker's passive is never going to go off on him. So she's never going to do the res, which this is the part that messes it up. Also, the actual res ability also would mess it up. But she's never going to cast either of those. So if Mordecai dies very early, it's going to be perfectly fine. So my Mordecai is currently sitting at 31,000 HP. Basically, it's irrelevant, to be honest. Irrelevant HP, irrelevant defense. The speed, I do think he has to be pretty close to the boss's speed. Obviously, he's not as fast as the boss, but I do want to make sure that he gets that HP burn off before the boss gets a turn from that sleep. And also, I want to make sure that he gets that turn meter boosting off before the boss actually kills him. So that 260 speed seems good, but if you want to try a lower speed, you probably can perfectly fine. And you'll probably have to adjust Godseeker because Mordecai will be doing the turn meter boosting at a little different time. But if you want to do this run, 260, perfectly fine, 510 accuracy. But he also has this ability over here that gives him an extra 20 whenever he has nothing on cooldown. So whenever he does that HP burn ability, he's nothing on cooldown. So he's going to have an extra 20, technically 24 accuracy. So he's sitting at 534, I guess. And as long as you have, I think, at 525, you're going to be perfectly fine. You have plenty of accuracy. So honestly, very easy champion to build. Very, very easy to build. Now, as far as the masteries go, I don't have anything in the defense tree because I don't want him to survive. I want him to die as soon as possible. You'll see that in the replay. And then once he dies, it's going to be good to go. Now, if you actually want to fully book your Godseeker, this same concept works without the food champions. It's going to be possibly even easier because if you just drop these food champions and your Mordecai is still dying, let me see if this, it may not work now because I would have to speed my Godseeker up, but we'll see if it does work with the current speeds. I really doubt it will because she is so slow. But if you do booster speed, the equivalent of the champions that I just now got rid of, I got a hair falling down, which makes no sense because I have no hair on my head, but I'm seeing a hair falling from my hat. Okay, sorry about that. But either way, if you boost Godseeker's speed by that 24 from the other allies, it's going to be perfectly fine. So 270, she's going to be good to go. No issues whatsoever. And this may even be fine where it's at. So if you want to use Mordecai in this exact build, get rid of whatever champion you had built to survive, super tanky, Walking Tomb Dring or whatever, I mean, he's a great champion. He does it fast-ish, kind of. He's easy-ish to build, but if you want somebody who's just gonna die, this is perfectly fine. You can see right here, she's going a little slow. Godseeker's max HP is working itself down, and she's not able to recover it. This is the problem when she's just a few speed too slow. That's exactly what happens. So if you have no food, that's what the run's gonna look like. You definitely, if she's fully booked, don't need the food, just run her by herself with Mordecai. You're gonna have a 5-minute run-ish, and you're gonna be good to go. Now, I'll link this video at the end of the run, or end of this video, like I said, but I do want to show you guys the other team, okay? So this team is for those people who are a little bit less patient, okay? You're not too worried about Ninja being in a team because you have Ninja. You played when Ninja was around. So if you want to use Ninja, I also don't have any counterattack stuff on Godseeker because if she counterattacks, it's just going to make the run slower. So don't counterattack, none of that animation wasting stuff. But this team should be about 2 minutes. You're going to farm food alongside your Ninja. Ninja, he's currently built to survive. So you have to decide. He is strong affinity, so he's going to get weak hit by the boss. So it's going to be difficult to build Ninja to make sure he consistently dies. So if you're using Ninja on this stage, then you probably want to make him actually survive. If you're using anybody else, it should be perfectly fine. You don't have to make him survive, but Ninja would have to be very low HP because you can see these hits from the boss are 6,000, okay? They're very, very, very weak hits against Ninja. So it's going to be tricky to make him survive against anything other than that AoE ability. His AoE hits for like 30,000, I think, on weak hits. So, okay, 28,000. Yeah, that's not even a weak hit. So you'd have to make Ninja very, very squishy. So I think you just have to make him pretty tanky. So on those regular hits that he survives. So this team, though, it's going to run smooth. It's going to run sub 2 minutes. Very, very smooth. Very, very consistent. Honestly, it should be 100%. I mean, it's the exact same thing as the just Ninja plus Godseeker, but now you're running 3 food champions alongside it. You got to adjust the speeds accordingly, of course, and as well as the booking. The booking is the most important part. But obviously, if you just want to take the same concept, use a fully booked Godseeker, and until a speed tune comes out where a fully booked Godseeker can be used in this, then just use the fully booked Godseeker alongside a Ninja or alongside a Mordecai on stage 25, and you'll be good to go. We got a minute 33 run on stage 24, Sand Devils Necropolis, with 2 champions and 3 food champions. Guys, I think that's amazing. Personally, I think that is an amazing team setup. This is, granted, one of the best runs that I've seen so far. And then, yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Let me know what stages you're working on. Thank you all very much for watching the video. I appreciate the support. I'm going to leave, like I said, the long stage 25 run at the end of this. So you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next one.